What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rideshare Hub. Hey, before we get going, I left a link in the description to the Cash App. For those of you that don't know what the Cash App is, the Cash App is a lot like Venmo. It's a payment processor, but it's really cool. They also have a debit card you can get access to that's linked to a bank account. So depending on your financial situation, that could be something that could be really helpful for you. I've used the Cash App for about 4 years personally, and I've been able to use it. It's just provided an immense amount of value to me. But the really cool thing about it is that when you sign up for the first time, if you were to use my referral code, when you send a friend $5, they'll give you $5. So if you get a group of friends together and you guys all send each other $5, you're all basically just getting free money. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. You're just getting a free $5. So what I think is you should sign up, you should get some of your friends to sign up, and then you guys should all go grab a cheap lunch together or something like that. It's free money, guys. Like, literally free money. You might as well go get $5. Anyways, today what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to do a video on the 5 main reasons on why I quit driving full-time. For those of you that don't know, I was a full-time driver for about 2 years. I would average 40 to 50 hours a week, and for a while I did like 70 to 80 hours a week. And there's a pretty solid amount of reasons on why I refuse to drive full-time. So I'm going to give you guys these reasons. The first reason is what it did to my car. I won't go into a crazy amount of depth on this because I actually have one entire video that covers this, but basically I accrued just a ton of negative equity on my car because I was a full-time driver. I had a 2013 Nissan Altima. It had 16,000 miles on it. In about a year and a half, it had 140. Like, that is how many miles I put on that car. And what ended up happening is I had obviously a crazy amount of negative equity. I still owed about $9,000 or $10,000 on the car, and the car value was $3,000. So I had $7,000 in negative equity. And it was because of Uber and Lyft. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It was all of that driving that put those miles. And the other thing is too, like, when you're doing excess amounts of miles like that, you got to think it's pretty much all city driving. You know, how many of our rides are we actually on the highway for? I'm probably on the highway for like 25% of my day total, if even that. Everything else, you know, you're picking people up, you're stopping, you're going, you're in stoplights, traffic, and that's all the stuff that's worse, like the worst type of driving for your car. So what happened for me is I had all those miles, and then I had a bunch of repairs I needed to put on my car because of the mileage. So I had about $4,000 in repairs. I had 135,000 miles, and the repairs were so bad that I really couldn't drive Uber and Lyft unless I got it fixed. And it put me in a really bad financial pickle at the time because I just couldn't figure out what to do. So the number one reason why I won't drive full time is because of the damage it will cause to your car. The long-term effects, if you've got a newer vehicle, like, just do not do excess driving. Like, I literally think if you're doing more than 3 to 4 hours a day, it's going to end up hurting you more than helping you. I mean, I guess a better way of saying it would be, I really feel like if you're doing more than 20 hours a week, I think it'll end up hurting you more than helping you in the long run. And I never thought it because I was making good money. I was like, oh man, I just had a $300 night. Oh wow, and then a $200 night. Oh, I made $1,200 this week on Uber and Lyft. Who would have thought? And I'm not thinking about how 2 years down the road, this is gonna really affect me. So that is the number one reason I don't, is the long-term effects on your vehicle, as well as the mileage that gets accrued and the negative equity that you will get on your car. The second biggest reason that I won't drive full-time is that I simply don't believe there's a future for Uber and Lyft, like a career future. Are you really going to be able to do this for the next 10 years? Chances are probably not. Also, you've got no advancement opportunities. So, like, looking at this as a full-time job or a full-time career, I don't think is going to help you at all in the long run. Like, obviously you saw from my first reason, that's alone enough. But the other reason is Uber and Lyft have both verbally expressed that they're working towards automation. Like, they're trying to make Uber and Lyft just entirely automated fleets of cars that go and pick people up, and then they're not even paying drivers. So, like, if you think for a second that these companies care about you. You're wrong. They don't care about you. They don't even like really try and protect their veteran drivers. I've been seeing that a lot in like the Uber forums. A lot of guys have been talking about how they were a 5-star driver for like 3 years, just gave impeccable service, and they quit because the rates would get cut so much. And they're like, why would they care though? It makes sense that they wouldn't care, because yeah, they might lose this veteran driver, but that veteran driver isn't going to make them any more money than the 5 rookies that signed up in his place because they never knew how good it used to be. And that's the thing. Whether the drivers go on strike or anything, it's never going to matter. Because at the end of the day, they're going to do their main thing. And they're a company. You can't really expect them not to. If they can make zillions more money each year by making automated cars, who wouldn't do that, So, and I don't say any of this to blame them. I'm just saying that if you really look at the direction they're heading, they're not heading in a direction that's going for your best interest. So thinking you have any type of long-term future with Uber and Lyft, I really think is just a mistake. And that's essentially my second reason, is that there's real no long-term future. You're not going to advance. Where you're at now is the best it'll ever be. The only thing that might change is the rates might go lower, but they're not going to make them higher. I mean, come on. They're not. So, that's why I started changing my focus after about my second year. I stopped thinking of like, oh, I can just do this full time to take care of myself, versus, okay, how can I do this until I find something that will take over? How can I do this until I start my own business and it replaces my Uber income? That's what I would say is the better way to think if you are a full-time driver, because I'm telling you, like, it is not a bright future for Uber and Lyft drivers. I think it's honestly probably the opposite. I think it's very bleak. And the third reason kind of goes along with the second reason, but with all the rate cuts, and then like Lyft has pretty much done away with prime time entirely. Uber still has surging, but the reality is the apps are not what they used to be. I used to be able to work a full-time week and I could make $1,300. And I wouldn't necessarily do that every week, but I could always clear over 1,000. Now it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough for me to clear like 1,100. Like, I can get close to 1,000 and every now and then hit 1,000 in a 40-hour work week. But going over that is just very rare, and it's not going to happen all that often. And this all might change city to city, keep in mind, but this is just what I've seen. So I believe that, going out and working 40 hours a week to just make $800 or $900 and to just put a crap load of miles on your car, that's not worth it. That is not worth it, because after gas, after expenses, maintenance, everything, I guarantee you, if you look back on the year, you're probably making $12 an hour at most. So, for me, like, I'm just not really willing to do that anymore. There is a time where maybe that would have added some benefit to my life, and I think for a lot of people it will. For a lot of people, getting to make an extra $36 in 3 hours, every now and then might really help them, But for me, it doesn't. I feel like it hurts me more than it helps me. So doing that all day, every day, again, I'm just not for it. I'm not gonna destroy my vehicle to make $12 an hour. But I would say that the next reason, let's see, so I covered the rates, I covered the negative equity. Oh, the next reason is really just personal. And that's just that I've used this to start my own business, and I also am an actor. I've used this to pursue my dream of being like a really more of an actively working actor. And so I've gotten my business to a place where I'm actually comfortable. So for me personally, I just, like I was kind of saying in the last topic, I don't find as much value in it as I used to. It used to be that it helped me a lot more, but now for where I'm at personally, it doesn't help me as much. And the reason why I even have that as one of my reasons is that I said this earlier, like, you guys should all be working towards that. You should be working towards some goal to where you're not Ubering at all, because I mean, if the other reasons don't make it any more obvious, it's like, there's no long-term future here. You need to start thinking of a game plan on how to get out of it, because if you're dependent on this, I do not want this to hurt you badly down the road. And the final reason I would say is I am a little burnt out of it. 4 years of doing it, it just gets a little grueling in a weird way. Uber is like weirdly emotionally draining. I think with all the people in your car, that's a lot of the reason why. But I'm feeling a little tired of it, and doing it more than 10 hours a week is really hard for me now. I don't know why, it's just a mental block, but that is all I will do now. I do no more than 5 to 10 hours a week, and I'm honestly usually just trying to network in these rides more than anything. But that's my video, guys. My 5 reasons on why I'm personally quitting driving full time. I really want you guys to like actually take heed into a lot of these reasons, especially that I believe the third one, just about really analyzing the future of all this and where is it really headed, and is there a place for you in that future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon.